football fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 2 in the league where they play. For pay! Great to be back with you guys. Week number 2. As week number 1 is in the books, I had a very good week number 1, 14-4 overall, 12-4 with the picks. I did pick the Denver-Tennessee game under last night, and I used the Chargers twice last week, had them in a teaser and the money line, so 14-4. Can't complain about that for week 1. Can't complain about that for week 1. With no preseason, all these new players on every team, you didn't know what you were going to get. 14-4, very, very good start to the year. Let's keep it going. You know, week 1, you kind of saw the teams from last year, you know, the really good teams flex their muscle like Kansas City and Baltimore and New Orleans and Green Bay and Seattle. You know, New England picked up a win. Pittsburgh with Big Ben looked good last night. And then you had the teams that you still don't know about, like the Texans and Dallas and Philly and Atlanta. Then you have a team like Arizona, maybe a little better than we thought. Niners may have a hangover. And then you have those collection of teams that still may be bad, like the Jets and Miami and Cincinnati and the Giants and Cleveland. But it's only week 1. It's only week 1. Long way to go. I always tell you this every year with the NFL. It's 16 games, but there's a lot of twists and turns in those 16 games. So let's keep it all in perspective. Remember this year, I didn't talk about this last week. Playoffs are different this year in the NFL. A couple more teams added to the playoffs, and only one team in each conference gets a bye. So if you're the top seed in each conference this year, you're going to have a major advantage. So if you're Baltimore and Kansas City, you want to get that top seed. It's going to be very difficult, you know, to win all these games, especially if you're a wild card team. Imagine you're a wild card team this year and you got to go through that gauntlet. So only one team gets a bye from each conference this year, so keep that in mind. All right, let's get right to it. Let's go to pick number 1. I'm going to start with the Thursday night game. My bags are packed. My bags are packed, and I know only 3 teams are letting fans in the stadium this year. Dolphins, Jacksonville, Kansas City, letting a small crowd in. But I'm finding a way into this game on Thursday night. I don't want to miss this barn burner. Thursday night football. You know how much I can't stand Thursday night football to begin with? Well, you got a humdinger this Thursday night with the Cleveland Browns are home, -6 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals were competitive, could have easily beat the Chargers. A.J. Green, you know, the pass interference at the end, you know, bad break there. Then the kicker hurts himself on the potential game-tying field goal. So Cincinnati was competitive. I'll give them that. Burrow did some good things, made a big mistake at the end, you know, but did lead the team down the field. You know, at the end of the game, if A.J. Green doesn't push you off, Cincinnati may win the game. And they could have been at least in overtime if the kicker doesn't hurt himself on the last play of the game and misses the kick. So Cincinnati was at least competitive. We don't expect a lot from Cincinnati with a young quarterback. Then you got the Browns. Now listen, I didn't expect the Browns to go into Baltimore and win. And they were down 10-6 after the first quarter, but then they just completely collapsed and went back to the Browns that we all know and love. Basically, the Browns have been playing this way since Jim Brown retired, and they got demolished by the Ravens the last 3 quarters. Cleveland, year in and year out, continues to stink up the joint. It is hard to believe that Cleveland has been this bad for this long. With all the coaching changes, with all the top picks, with all the quarterbacks they bring in. It's amazing they continue to be this bad. And I didn't expect them to beat Baltimore. But can you at least show some sign of life the last 3 quarters? It's 10-6 after the first quarter, and they get bombed the rest of the way. Oh my goodness, Cleveland. Cleveland Browns, year after year, it's the same story with them. The same story. I was going through how many times Cleveland has changed coaches the last few years. Their coaches don't even last long. Listen to this list. Romeo Crennel was there about 4 years, and he gets fired. Mangini, who everyone thought was going to be the next guru, 2 years. Shermer, 2 years. Chudzinski, 1 year. Patine, 2 years. Hugh Jackson, 2 years. Greg Williams, 1 year. Kitchens, 1 year. And now they have a coach this year. I mean, they go through coaches like, you're eating popcorn. I mean, what a joke. And here's another thing. Here's the Cleveland Browns record since 2008 every year. Listen to these records since 2008. 4-12, 5-11, 5-11, 4-12, 5-11, 4-12, 7-9, which for them looks like a Super Bowl year. Then they follow that up with a nice 3-13, then a 1-15, then an 0-16. Let me say it again, 0-16. Then they get up to 7-8-1. You think, okay, they're on the right track. And then they follow that up with a nice 6-10 last year, and they're 0-1 already this year, and they've been blown out. I mean, let's get it together, Cleveland. Talk about ineptitude from top to bottom, not just the players. The coaching, the front office. I feel bad for the Cleveland Brown fans. These are some of the best fans in the world. They're loyal. And they had to sit through this for all these years? Listen, I know it's only one game, and I didn't expect them to beat Baltimore, but Cleveland, come on. You got to do better. And my bags are packed for this Thursday night. Who is with me? Who wants to come to the dog pound to watch Cleveland against Cincinnati? We'll get in. I know they're not letting fans in. We'll get a special press pass and we'll get in. Bring your masks. Bring your mask. We're sitting there to watch this Donnybrook. Cleveland, Cincinnati. Thursday night football. Who's with me? Let's go. My bags are packed. I'm ready. I can't wait for this colossal matchup between two giants. This is like Godzilla vs. King Kong. Oh my goodness, what a joke. And how about Odell Beckham? Ugh. 3 catches for 22 yards. What a disaster he's been on, Cleveland. Oh my goodness, what a disaster. Oh my, how long is he going to last on Cleveland? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, come on. This is going to be a train wreck. Now, having said that, let's get to the game. Cleveland at home, -6 against Cincinnati. Cleveland has to win this game. You have to beat Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati's got a rookie quarterback with only a couple days to prepare. Thursday night football usually favors the home team. Now you got a rookie. Not much time to prepare. You're on the road. Cleveland, come on, Cleveland. You have to win this game. And Cincinnati had the game against the Chargers at their pace. They were winning most of the game. It was low scoring. It was their pace. They hung in the game. If Cleveland's got to pounce on Cincinnati early here, because if you pounce on Cincinnati with a young quarterback, it'll be different. It could unravel quickly. The Chargers, they did everything they could to keep the Bengals in the game. I think Cleveland, despite all their nonsense, and despite the last couple of decades of ineptitude, I think they're going to win this game. I think they have to win this game. You cannot go 0-2 and lose to Cincinnati on Thursday Night Football in your building with a new coach. You have a new coach, new beginnings again for Cleveland. All right, you lost to Baltimore. Okay, I wish they would have played a little better, but okay, you got blown out. You have to beat Cincinnati. I think they will. Get on the board early, Cleveland. That'll put pressure on Cincinnati and the young quarterback. I think Cleveland has enough to get through here. So I would move the line to pick them in a 2-team teaser and take the Browns. Now, if Cleveland happens to lose this game, watch out next week. Because if you think I lowered the boom on Cleveland this week, you won't believe what I'm going to do next week. But I think Cleveland is going to get it done here. This is asking a lot for the Bengals with a rookie quarterback. Very little time to prepare. Thursday Night Football usually favors the home team because of that. I think Cleveland should and they will handle Cincinnati. So I will take the Browns in a 2-team teaser at Pick'em. Show me something, Cleveland. And do you believe the records for Cleveland the last 12 years and all the coaching changes? I couldn't believe it myself. Just ridiculous. But I do like the Browns this week. I'll take them. Pick them against the Bengals. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go down to Tampa Bay, where expectations are very high. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are minus 8.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina 0-1, lost a tough home game to Vegas in a shootout. Tampa Bay 0-1, lost to New Orleans. I thought Tampa Bay played an extremely sloppy game. Was this Winston at quarterback? I mean, this looked like Winston at quarterback. Brady, 2 horrible interceptions, penalties all over the place, sloppy football. Evans doesn't make a catch till like the 4th quarter. That's what worries me about Tampa Bay, the coach. The coach is a wild man. He seems to be a player's coach. He's funny. Is he going to run a tight ship there? Or is it going to be just the wild, just wild stuff like you saw last weekend? Penalties, turnovers, all this kind of stuff. I thought when they got Winston out of there, this was supposed to stop. Brady had 2 horrific interceptions. He didn't look all that sharp. Even surprised the coach. And again, I know it's only week 1. But Brady is getting up there. He's on a new team now. Now listen, they were playing the Saints, and the Saints are one of the better teams in the league. So let's keep that in mind. But I didn't like the way Tampa played at all in that game. The penalties, the sloppy play, the turnovers, it was just ugly. Not what I thought. I thought it was going to be a nice, crisp, professional effort. Listen, we all knew New Orleans could win the game, but I didn't think Tampa Bay was going to play like this. And Tampa Bay took an early 7-0 lead. And then it all started to unravel. Brady with the bad picks and then those bad penalties all over the place. It was ugly for Tampa Bay. It was ugly. Ugly. I felt like Winston was still a quarterback there. That's what you saw last year. Turnovers, sloppy play, penalties, bad defense, and Tampa loses. Now again, Tampa's at home minus 8.5 against Carolina. Again, like the Browns in the first game. Tampa Bay really needs to get this game. They really need to have this game. This is a team they should be able to handle. Carolina is no great team. Move the line to 2.5 and take Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay needs to get to 1-1 here. They go to 0-2. The panic button is going to be pushed. And they really need to have this game, and I think they will get it. This is a team they should be able to move the ball against. Brady should clean up those interceptions. Hopefully they clean up, the penalties. This is a team at home they should be able to rock. I expect Tampa Bay to score a boatload of points this week. Carolina will get their points, I'm sure, but not enough. I think Tampa Bay wins. Move the line to 2.5 and take the Bucs in a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 2. Oh, one more thing on that game. How about Troy Aikman? Troy Aikman during the broadcast goes, all I heard in the offseason was, how New England was going to be so bad and Tampa Bay was going to be so good. Well, look what happened today. Tampa Bay lost to New Orleans and New England beat Miami. Calm down, Troy Aikman. Yeah, New England won. They were home against Miami. And Tampa Bay did lose, and they didn't look all that impressive, but they were in New Orleans. It's not like Tampa Bay lost a home game to Cincinnati, and New England, went to Kansas City and won. Calm down, Troy. It's not like New England beat this great team. And Tampa was in New Orleans, and they were underdog. So calm down, Mr. Aikman. And go have another scoop of ice cream. I feel like every time I'm watching Aikman on a broadcast, he's always talking about what ice cream he's eating the night before a game. So go have another scoop of ice cream on me. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Oh, here we go. I'm riled up today, and this is going to get me even more riled up. Let's go to Indianapolis. With the Indianapolis Colts are minus 3 against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings lost at home to Green Bay. Defense got shredded. Rodgers carved them up like a Thanksgiving roast. And then you got the Colts. Oh boy. I got to control myself here. The Colts lost to Jacksonville. They lost Mack, their running back for the season, which is a huge loss because the Colts last year had a good running game. Now they're going to have to rely on Rivers slinging it all over the place. And you know what happens when you go down that road? You get what you got on Sunday, Rivers throwing picks all over the field. Again. They lost to Jacksonville, who everyone thought was going to be the worst team in the league. Jacksonville basically jettisoned all their good players out the door. I know Minshew can do some good things for you at quarterback, but come on. The Colts can't handle Jacksonville? And okay, let's get to Phillip Rivers. Get him out. Get Phillip Rivers out right now. I've seen enough of Phillip Rivers to last me a lifetime. The exact same game I watch with him every week. We watched over a decade of this with the Chargers. He had good teams with the Chargers. They found new and creative ways to lose every week. He threw interceptions every week, and he has that baffled look on his face at the end of the game. How did I lose again? Maybe you should stop throwing interceptions, Rivers. Minshew didn't throw any interceptions in his second year. Rivers, again, 2 more picks. A veteran quarterback. Get Rivers out right now. Rivers is not going to lead you to the promised land. What are the Colts exactly thinking here? Tell me what the Colts are thinking having Rivers as a quarterback. What, Rivers is the missing piece to get them to the Super Bowl? I don't think so. The Colts are not a Super Bowl team. Why did they bring Rivers in to begin with? And you knew they had to play him now because they paid him so much money this year. Get him out now. Sit his butt on the bench right now. Call Luck and say, Mr. Andrew Luck, please come out of retirement. Please. Now I know Luck, he looks like he's done. I'm surprised he hasn't got the itch to play yet. I know a couple of years ago, all sorts of injuries, he retired. I make the call to Luck, see if he wants to come back. He's going to say no. Then I put Brissett in as your starting quarterback. I don't know if Brissett is the answer, but I know Rivers ain't. Rivers is not the answer. Let's see what Brissett has. I don't know if he's going to be any good or not, but let's put him in there and see. And if he's bad, you start over and you draft a new quarterback next year. Forget Phillip Rivers. Forget Phillip Rivers. Forget Phillip Rivers. Sit his butt on the bench. This guy is not a big-time player in a big spot. I don't care how many yards he throws for. I don't care how many touchdowns he throws for. He will kill you in a big spot with these turnovers. And again, 2 more turnovers in this game. And again, at the end of the game, he's trying to lead him down the field like he did with the Chargers all those years with one of these frenetic comebacks, and then you get the bad karma with him and the bad juju. Drop passes, he has that baffled look on his face, and again his team loses. How many times has Phillip Rivers been to the Super Bowl? How many? How many Super Bowls has he won? How many playoff games has he won? Enough, Phillip Rivers, get him out. Get him out. Out, out, out. I've had enough of this guy. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, okay, new team. You know, maybe he's a little better with the Colts. He avoids the turnovers. They lean on that running game. I know, listen, it wasn't all his fault last week. Matt going out was big. The defense was terrible. They got carved up by Minshew. Minshew was 19 for 20 passing for the game. What is this, Phil Simms against Denver in the Super Bowl? You allow this guy to complete every pass he throws? Nice job, Colts. So I don't want to blame this all on Rivers, but you can see the bad karma and the bad juju again, like in Silver Linings Playbook. You ever watch that movie? The bad juju. It follows this guy around. And I guarantee you, if Rivers was on the Chargers this week, the Bengals would have won that game. He can't get you to the promised land. What exactly are the Colts hoping for here? What do they think they're going to do with him this year? Get him out, sit him on the bench. They should have never signed him to begin with. Go with Brissett, see if he's the answer. If not, draft another young quarterback and start over. And like I said, put in that call to Andrew Luck. Now he's going to say no, he's retired. I get it. Put the call in. And let's see what Brissett can actually do. Because I've seen enough of Rivers. I know what he can and can't do. He's not going to lead you anywhere but into interception world. Into interception world. And that silly, goofy look on his face at the end of every game I've been looking at for 15 years. How did we lose again? Well, maybe if you'd stopped throwing the ball to the other team, you would have won. They had leads multiple times in this game, multiple times to score. And again, the same Phillip Rivers stats. Not only the 2 picks, throws for almost 400 yards, but you look up, the team has 20 points on the board, and they lose to a team like Jacksonville. Phillip Rivers, I've had enough of you. You stink. You stink. Sit his butt down now. How much can you take of this? What were the Colts thinking bringing this guy in? What? Well, where were they going with this? Go with Brissett. See if he can do it. If he can't, draft a young quarterback and start over and put the call in the Luck. It's that simple. Why would you bring in Rivers here? What do you think is going to be accomplished? Now you're stuck playing this guy because you paid him all this money. Why? Why? Did you see the Chargers bringing him back? The Chargers let him go. The Chargers let him go. The Chargers drafted a young quarterback, and that's where they're going to go for the future. They've had enough of Rivers. The Colts should have never brought this guy onto their team. Never! Get him out! Get him out! Out! I mean, how much of this can you watch with this guy? All right. Back to the game. And then they got to, then to even more infuriate me, they got to make the Colts favorite this week. Colts at home -3 against Minnesota. On general principle, I'm moving the line to 9 and taking the Vikings. I have to think Rivers will keep the Vikings in the game somehow. He'll throw a couple picks and this game will be close. I mean, I moved the line to 9. You really think the Colts are capable of beating the Vikings by more than 9? I don't even know if they can win this game. And I know the Vikings didn't look great either, but that was against Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't throw interceptions. Phillip Rivers does. Oh, boy. I know, it's only week 2. Phillip Rivers already got to me. All right, so that's how I would play that game. Move the line to 9 and take Minnesota on general principle. There's no other way to play this game. You can't feel too confident of either team, about either team. So if you're going to play it, move it to 9, take Minnesota. You think it's a field goal game either way. And sit Phillip Rivers on the bench. Please, get him out. Out. Put Brissett in, call Luck, draft a young quarterback next year. And away we go. Enough Rivers. Bye-bye. All right, pick number 4. Let's go down to Nashville, Tennessee, Music City. You guys ever been down to Music City? Nice place, good music, friendly people. Tennessee at home, -10 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just mentioned Jacksonville. They beat Indianapolis. Minshew did some good things. 19 for 20 passing. Give Jacksonville credit. They lost a lot of players in the offseason. They traded away a lot of players. Everyone thought they'd be the worst team in the league. Give Minshew and the Jaguars credit. They played a professional game. Give them credit. Now, I still don't think they're going to be that good, but give them credit. They played well last week. Tennessee, they're 1-0, beat Denver in a hard-fought game. Tennessee actually made this game harder than it should have been. The kicker missed 3 field goals and an extra point, but did kick the game winner at the end of the game. We all think Tennessee is going to be good. That's kind of Tennessee. They kind of play these low-scoring games. They win these games. They like to ground and pound. Tennessee, I think, is going to be a good, solid team. I would think Tennessee would be a playoff team for sure this year. I had a great run last year with the extra teams, in the playoffs this year. I think Tennessee would definitely be a playoff team. Again, all right. Now, I know Jacksonville won last week. The spread's 10. For all you three-team teaser lovers, that's 9 points. You have to pick 3 teams. You move the line 9 points. This is a game I would use in your three-team teaser. You move the line down to 1 and you take Tennessee. Jacksonville's got to show me back-to-back weeks. They got to show me now that they can go on the road and beat a good quality team in Tennessee. Yeah, I know they beat that joker, Phillip Rivers. Good job by Jacksonville beating that clown. But now you got to take your show on the road and go to Music City and beat a good Titan team who's already 1-0, was in the AFC Championship game last year. They have a good, solid team. I don't think Jacksonville could get it done. So your 3-team teaser people, move it to 1 and take Tennessee. That's the way I go in that game. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to Philadelphia, where the LA Rams are now 1.5-point favorite over the Philadelphia Eagles. Rams beat Dallas. That was a nice win by them in their shiny new stadium. And then the Eagles. What did I tell you about the Eagles last year? The Eagles are 0-1. They lost to Washington. What did I tell you about the Eagles last week? With Wentz, they're up and down. The Eagles were up 17-0 in this game in the second quarter, and you think they're going to blow Washington right off the field. What do? They don't score the rest of the way and lose by 10 to Washington. That's been the Eagles' story with Wentz. That's been the story. Remember, when they won the Super Bowl years ago, that was with Foles. That wasn't with Wentz. Wentz has been up and down. He's got ability, but he's just sporadic. So are the Eagles. That's why I took Washington last week in the teaser. Washington won outright. The Eagles just scare me. They just don't play consistent football. Now, they were gritty and gutty last year getting to the playoffs with like their third-string quarterback, but they're so up and down. It's hard to pick them week in and week out. Having said that, I do like to take decent teams getting points at home and pushing it in the teaser. So the Rams are a 1.5 favorite in Philly. I'm going to move that line to 7.5, and I'm going to take the Eagles at home. This is about pride, Philadelphia. You just coughed up a 17-0 lead to Washington, who nobody thinks is any good. You have to come home now and show some pride. The Rams are not world beaters by any means. They did have the nice win against Dallas. They're not world beaters. They're coming across the country. Philadelphia, you just got to hang in this game. I'm getting 7.5 points with you at home. I think the game will be close. It could go either way, but I'm feeling comfortable with the Eagles with 7.5 at home. I mean, they could actually win this game. This game should be close. The Rams blow out Philly. That's really alarming for the Eagles. But I think the Eagles are going to show some pride here, and they're up and down, so you know how they play. They were so awful last week, they'll probably play a lot better this week. I'll take the Eagles plus 7.5 at home in a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. This is the Sunday night football game. Let's go to Seattle. I'll miss those Seattle fans in the building because they're wild. They're wild and crazy. I'll miss the full house in Seattle. But the Seattle Seahawks are at home, -4 against the New England Patriots. Patriots are 1-0. They beat Miami. Cam Newton gets his first win as a Patriot. He gets a couple of touchdowns. New England did all sorts of things on the ground against Miami. So a good start for Cam Newton and the Patriots despite all the defections they've had. So New England in the win column, 1-0. Seattle, 1-0, beat Atlanta in a shootout. Had a big lead against Atlanta. Atlanta tried to come back late, but did not happen. So Seattle is 1-0. We all expect Seattle to be in the playoffs. I would think Seattle would win that division. It's going to be a pretty good division, I think, though. Seattle, San Francisco, the Rams, Arizona, all could be good. All could potentially be good. But I think Seattle is the best team in that division. San Francisco, I think, is going to have a little bit of a hangover this year. As far as this game, listen, I know New England beat Miami. Good. Nice job by Cam Newton. Nice job by the Patriots. Now you're going on the road, long trip to Seattle, one of the better teams in the league. I don't think New England can get it done. I like Seattle in the money line here. You're looking for a money line game this week, and I said money line Chargers last week, and I won. I like Seattle in the money line this week to take care of New England. I don't think this particular New England team is good enough to win in Seattle. If they do, I'll be the first one to give them credit next week. I don't think they can get it done. I think Seattle's all over them here. I like Seattle in the money line to take care of business against the Patriots. This is asking a lot for Cam Newton and the Patriots. With all these guys out, new quarterback, I don't think they can win up in Seattle. Don't think it's happening. Seattle money line, pick number 6. Pick number 7, let's go down to the big D in Dallas. With the Dallas Cowboys at -5 against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, I just mentioned them, 0-1 loss to Seattle. I think that's what you're going to get from Atlanta this year. They're going to score a lot of points, but they're probably going to give up a lot more. They could score, but they're going to give up a lot of points, Atlanta. They're going to be in a lot of shootouts, probably come out on the wrong end of a lot of them. Dallas, 0-1 loss to the Rams. Here we go again with the boys. And listen, I've been very fair to the boys. I've been fair to Prescott. I've been fair to the offense. I've been fair to Dallas. I've been fair to them over the years. At some point, put up or shut up, Dallas. You're one of the most overhyped teams in the league. You didn't even make the playoffs last year. You let Philly with their third-string quarterback beat you out. Put up or shut up, Dallas. It's about time, right? It's about time, and I've been fair to the boys. That was a lackluster effort against the Rams. And I know they were complaining about a bad call. Please, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. They have to play better, Dallas. They have talent. How about stepping it up, Dallas? Put up or shut up. Now, I think Dallas can handle Atlanta in their building. I think this is a team that can get a lot of things done on offense against. I think this will be a high-scoring game, and I think Dallas will pull it out. So I'm going to move the line to pick them and take Dallas. Put up or shut up, Dallas. This is a team they should be able to handle. They should get that offense cooking. Atlanta gives up points. They should be able to take care of the Falcons in their building. Again, if Dallas goes to 0-2, danger, danger, danger time for McCarthy early. Because the Sharks will be circling. Believe me, if Dallas drops this game with a new coach, believe me, the Sharks will be circling to take a bite out of that big McCarthy. Get it done, Dallas. Put up or shut up. I think they do get it done this week. How about them Cowboys? That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go down to Miami. Remember, 3 teams are letting fans in the building this year for the NFL. The Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the Chiefs. So there will be a small gathering this week in Miami. I think a couple of college teams are doing the same thing. I think the Miami Hurricanes, I think Clemson. But not many teams are letting fans in the building. Let's go down to South Florida where you have the Buffalo Bills -5.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Miami 0-1 loss to New England. Just got carved up with New England's running game. New England just sliced and diced them on the ground. Buffalo 1-0 beat the Jets, got off to a big lead and kind of held on late. They kind of were sitting on that big lead. They were up 21-0 early. Kind of went to sleep after that. I like Diggs on Buffalo, by the way. Gives him another weapon. Now, if Diggs can keep his mouth shut, he can get a little hot. He can get a little, he's got a little bit of a temper. He liked to complain a lot in Minnesota when he didn't get the ball. So if he keeps his mouth quiet, Diggs will do some good things for you. That's another weapon for Buffalo. But make sure you throw him the ball, because if he doesn't get a catch in the first quarter, he's going to start going off. But Diggs should help Buffalo. That's another weapon, and Buffalo already was a good team. This is a strange spread because Miami didn't look good at all last week. You don't think they're going to be any good. Fitzpatrick threw 3 interceptions. And Buffalo, you think, is going to be a playoff team. You would think Buffalo's a playoff team. And you'd think they have a good chance to win the division this year. Why is this only 5.5? It's eerie. It's eerie. But my gut says Buffalo's just better. I'm tempted to move the line to 11.5 and take Miami in a teaser. But I got to go pick them and go Buffalo. I think Buffalo's just better. I just think they're better. Now listen, I always tell you this in the teasers. You can go one way or the other and you may win either way. You know, Buffalo could win this game by 6 points. You pick in a teaser, you win both ways. That happened a bunch of times last week. Happened a bunch of times last year. But my gut tells me, despite the eerie spread, Buffalo's just better. They're just better than Miami. They should beat Miami. They handled them twice last year pretty easily. I think Buffalo's better. So I'm going to move the line to pick them and say the Bills just win the game. I think they're better than Miami. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9. Let's go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. With the Green Bay Packers, the team with the most championships and Super Bowls combined in NFL history. minus 6.5 against the Detroit Lions. Green Bay beat Minnesota. I'll tell you, Green Bay, they really carved up Minnesota. I felt like they scored every time they had the ball. Rodgers was on fire in that game. Really nice road win for the Green Bay Packers. And then you have Detroit. Who, again, Stafford is so much like Phillip Rivers. They lose a game to Chicago they had in the bag. And I picked Chicago with a teaser, so I'm happy. Detroit had no business losing this game. Let the game slip away. Stafford, again, a huge interception in a big spot in the fourth quarter with his team. You know, I think the game was either tied or the Bears or the Lions were winning by 3. It was close at the time, and then Stafford throws this horrific interception. Then they have a huge drop pass in the end zone. Again, the bad karma, the bad juju. Stafford, like Rivers, just follows you around. And the Lions lose a game they should have never lost. What were they up, 23-6 at the time? 23-6 at one point in this game? Oh my, and again, Stafford, all these yards, all these records and passing and blah, blah, blah. But again, a huge turnover in a big spot. His team loses the game. He's not a winning quarterback. How many playoff wins does Stafford have? How many Super Bowls does Matthew Stafford have? How many times has Stafford and the Lions won the Super Bowl? How many playoff wins do they have? He's just like Phillip Rivers. They're mirror images of each other. And like Rivers, it's time for Stafford to go. And I know the Lions had a big drop pass at the end of this game. Could have won the game. I understand all that. Bad karma, bad juju with this guy. Interceptions in big spots. He's not a winning player. Sit him down, draft a young quarterback, go with someone else, and start over. Please, Detroit, they're another team. Year in and year out, can't get anything done. And just when you think they are going to get something done, another interception pops up. And they're blowing 17-point leads to the Bears and Trubisky. And the bad karma, the bad juju, just like Phillip Rivers. They're the same players. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with Stafford. You're not going to get to a Super Bowl with Stafford. You're not going to win any playoff games with Stafford. Sit him down, get him off the team, draft a young quarterback, and go in a different direction. It should have happened by now. Just ridiculous. How in the world did Detroit lose that game last week? Awful, awful, awful. Green Bay at home, minus 6.5 against Detroit. Now, I watched both games last year, and this is one of those black and blue rivalry games. Detroit played Green Bay very well last year. So I'm going to take a chance here and move the line to 12.5 and take the Lions. Now, I'm not saying the Lions are going to win because I'm sure they'll find a way to muck it up, and it's never easy going into Lambeau. But the Lions played Green Bay well last year. I remember watching both games. These division games are usually close, especially with the teaser. So I'm going to take a shot and take the Lions with 12.5 to be at least in the game. Like I said, I'm sure they'll muck it up at the end with a Stafford interception. I'm going to take the Lions with 12.5. I remember those two games last year. The Lions played Green Bay tough. I think they'll do it again this year, despite all their shenanigans. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from here with the San Francisco 49ers, a minus 7.5 against the New York Football Jets. Jets 0-1, lost to Buffalo. Jets, I thought you wanted all this respect. Now listen, you covered the teaser for me, thank you very much. And I covered the teaser with some bad teams last week. Like Washington and the Jets and the Giants and a bunch of other teams that were bad. So I'm thankful for that, Jets. But you want respect, you're going to have to start playing a little better. By the way, how bad is Le'Veon Bell since he's been on the Jets? What a ridiculous move he made going from the Steelers to the Jets. He had a very good situation in Pittsburgh with a good, solid organization and a good team. And they offered him a fair contract, and he got greedy. He got greedy. So he went to the Jets and didn't get all that great of a contract with the Jets compared to what the Steelers offered him. And he's been just abysmal on the Jets. Now he's hurt again. He's done nothing. Nothing. Running backs aren't what they used to be. Le'Veon Bell made a huge mistake leaving Pittsburgh and going to the Jets. A huge mistake. He's like a non-entity now. This is one of the best players in the league not too long ago. And by the way, where's this buddy Antonio Brown, another former Steeler? How's he doing? He's not even in the league. Those two guys made huge mistakes. Antonio Brown, and then Antonio Brown, he had a chance to go to the Patriots last year and messed that up. But this Le'Veon Bell, he's a shadow of what he used to be. What a big mistake going to the Jets. And then you got the Niners, 0-1, lost to Arizona. The Niners got off to a 10-0 lead in this game and then basically didn't do much the rest of the way. And I talked about this last week. Teams that lose the Super Bowl, watch them the year after. It usually doesn't go well. You think these teams are going to be great for a long time? Not so fast. Not everyone is New England. Look at Atlanta. Look at Carolina. The Niners could be heading in that direction. Look at the Rams a couple years ago. It doesn't always work out the next year, and the Niners are in a tough division with Seattle. Remember, they got a break last year. They could have easily been the wild card team and got that top spot. I think the Niners are a good team, but I don't think they're going to have the year they did last year, and I would bet against them as far as getting back to the Super Bowl. I would even bet against them winning the division. I really would. I think this is hangover city for the Niners. And you see it all the time. Carolina that year, would they lose 2 games before they lost to Denver in the Super Bowl? Never got back to that. Atlanta should have beat New England. Blew the game. Look at what they've been. The Rams didn't have a great season last year. We'll see about this year. You get my point, though. Just because you get to the Super Bowl one year and lose doesn't mean you're guaranteed a trip back the next year. There's not too many dynasties. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers have big years every year. Rodgers has 1 Super Bowl, and he's one of the all-time greats. He's got 1. Now, he doesn't have 1. He's got 1. Peyton Manning had 1 with the Colts, and then he got carried to 1 by Denver, where he didn't even play well. It's not, Dan Marino, no Super Bowl titles. You're not guaranteed to get to the promised land every year. New England dynasties don't come around all that often anymore in the NFL. Not with the changeover in the free agency. It's different now. I think the Niners are going to have a hangover this year. I'm going to move the line to 13.5 and take the Jets and say the Jets hang around in this game. Long trip for the Niners. Didn't like the way they played last week against the Cardinals. They were up 10-0, jumped on the Birds, and then just kind of faded away. Got outplayed the rest of the game, I thought, by Arizona, who I think is a better team than we think. I think the Jets are going to at least hang around in this game. The Niners can be a little dicey on offense sometimes. I think the Jets do enough to hang around. I'll take the 13.5 with the New York Football Jets. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11, let's go to Steel City in Pittsburgh, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are -6.5 against the Denver Broncos. Denver, of course, loses the heartbreaker at home to Tennessee last night. And Pittsburgh gets the job done in the Meadowlands. Pittsburgh got off to a slow start, picked it up late. I would expect the Steelers with a healthy Roethlisberger to be good. Now, they got to contend with Baltimore in that division. So the Steelers could be a good team and end up being a wild card team, and then you got to run this gauntlet. I think the Steelers, if Roethlisberger stays healthy, are going to be good. I'm moving this line to pick them and taking Pittsburgh. They're always good at home. Denver now, tough loss at home. Now you got to go on the road. No Von Miller. Offense is not a big-time offense right now. I do like some things the young quarterback does. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up with the Steelers, and the Steelers have a good defense. I think they're going to be able to harass that young quarterback at home. I generally like taking Pittsburgh at home. I don't like taking Denver on the road. That combination leads me to taking Pittsburgh here in a pick'em game. I think the Steelers get it done. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go to the Windy City in Chicago. The Chicago Bears are -5.5 against the New York Giants. They call it the Windy City. I always thought they called it the Windy City because it was windy there. You get the wind off the lake and all that. But I was told they call it the Windy City because back in the day, the New York politicians called the Chicago politicians a bunch of windbags. So that's why they call it the Windy City. Did you guys know that? I didn't. I had to look it up. But anyway, Chicago at home -5.5 against the New York Giants. Chicago with a nice comeback. 1-0 beat Detroit. I thought Chicago was dead and buried. I thought Trubisky was done. I thought they were going to go to Foles. I thought they were going to sit Trubisky down at one point. But give them credit. They came back in a nice win. Got a break at the end. Detroit dropped the pass in the end zone. But that was a good comeback win for the Bears. And Trubisky and the Bears needed it in the worst way. Because there's a lot of pressure on this kid now. Giants 0-1. Got off to a decent start against the Steelers, then faded into abyss. Listen, you can't expect. And this goes out to my cousin here in New York and my other cousin up in Rhode Island. Big Giant fans. You guys, I know you love your Giants. You can't expect much this year. You got a young quarterback. You don't have a lot of talent. They're surrounding Barkley at every chance they can get. The other teams are keying on him. You don't have a lot to work with. Hopefully you get Golden Tate back this week. You need another weapon in there. You're not going to get a lot from the Giants. You hope the quarterback gets better. He had 2 picks last night. You hope he progresses. You build around him. You're not going to have a big-time season. You're just not. Now, having said that, the spread's 5.5 here. I'm going to move it to 11.5 and take the Giants. I never trust Chicago giving points. They're very sporadic. They're another team you can't really figure, and that's why they were 8-8 last year. They're up, down. Even against Detroit last week, they're down 23-6, then they come around to win. They're so up and down. I don't like taking Chicago giving a decent amount of points. So if I can get the Giants with 11.5, I think the game is going to be at least close. So I'm going to go that way. I'll take the Giants 11.5. And I'll say the game's at least close. Chicago, to me, can't blow out many teams. So I think the Giants at least hang in the game. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13. This is the Monday Night Football game. Now only one Monday Night Football game the rest of the way. As the New Orleans Saints, who dat, are -6 against the Las Vegas Raiders. I haven't called them Oakland yet this year. I haven't called them Oakland. It's the Las Vegas Raiders. Because I know a few years ago, when I called the LA Chargers the San Diego Chargers, a few people jumped on me. I made a mistake. The Chargers only played in San Diego all those years, so I made a slip, and everyone jumped on. It's the LA Chargers. Thanks, I didn't know. So it's the Las Vegas Raiders, Monday Night Football, playing in their new dome. Saints are -6 against the Raiders. Raiders, nice comeback against Carolina on the road. Jacobs, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Gruden was all happy. Gruden looked like he put on a little weight. Chucky. The Grim Reaper. Darth Vader. Looked like he put on a little weight, Gruden. Looked like he was eating well over the offseason. Black hole. They'll have the new black hole now with no fans here, but the new black hole in Vegas, the new shiny new stadium. And then you got the Saints, 1-0, capitalized on all those Tampa Bay mistakes and penalties. The Saints are good in their own building. You expect the Saints to have another good, solid season. You expect them to have a big record. They're 1-0. I think the Raiders are going to be really energized for this game. Monday Night Football, new stadium, coming off a win. I'm going to move the line to 12 and take the Raiders. I think this is the game the Raiders have been waiting for. Now, again, I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think the Raiders have been waiting for this game. This is the turn-the-corner game for the Raiders. Turn-the-corner game for Carr. Turn-the-corner game for Gruden. If the Raiders and this bunch are going to do it, this could be the turn-the-corner game. They ever got it. And I don't like the Saints as much on the road as I do at home in that Superdome. So I think the Raiders are going to keep it close. I think this should be a high scorer, a fun game, a Wild West game. And this could be the game the Raiders have been waiting for. Gruden and Carr waiting for that game, the showcase game where they break out. Where they finally turn the corner and you believe in Carr and you believe in Gruden. And it's a fresh new start in Vegas. In the new black hole. With Chucky. And the Grim Reaper. And Vader. You won't have that guy in the gorilla costume. He'll be there next year, hopefully. But I'm going to take the Raiders plus 12. I think they're going to be really energized, really hyped up. This could be their Super Bowl game. So I think they keep it close. That's pick number 13. Las Vegas Raiders. Pick number 14. Let's go out to the desert in Arizona, where the Arizona Cardinals are -6.5 against Washington. Washington 1-0. Nice comeback win against Philadelphia with the new coach, Riverboat Ron Rivera. They were down 17-0 and came back and won. Nice job there. Arizona 1-0 went into San Francisco and won. I told you last week, Arizona could be very improved this year. They were better than their record indicated last year. They were better than we thought. The young quarterback can do some good things. The coach, who I thought was going to be awful, looks at least decent. Adding Watkins is a tremendous move. I mean, a tremendous move. Hopkins, I should say. Did I say Watkins? I meant Hopkins. They get him from the Texans. Tremendous move, adding him at wide receiver. That just opens things up. And how about Larry Fitzgerald, by the way? This guy is amazing. You talk about a professional's professional. You talk about a professional's professional. This guy's still going after all these years. Football is a tough game. It's a man's game. You can get seriously hurt. This guy's has made a ton of money over his career. And he still wants to play. Give Larry Fitzgerald a lot of credit for continuing to play. He's all fired up on the sidelines. Did you see him when Arizona won the game? He was really excited. He is the professional's professional, Larry Fitzgerald. And you hope that he can get back to a Super Bowl. He's the guy you want to win a Super Bowl. He's the guy you root for. And as I told you last week, I think Arizona is going to be much improved. And they showed that last week by beating the Niners in San Francisco. And they were down 10-0 early in this game. And they still got it done on the road. Arizona -6.5 against Washington in Arizona. Listen, Washington's got to show me that they now can take this act on the road. I know they beat Philly. They were home. And now can they do it on the road with the young quarterback? I say no. I think Arizona is just a little better than Washington right now, a little more advanced than Washington. So I'm going to move the line to pick them and take Arizona. I was really impressed with Arizona last week, beating the Niners, especially falling behind 10 points in their building. And the Niners were in the Super Bowl last year and could have easily won it. So that was a good quality win by Arizona, and Washington taking nothing away from them. They got to show me now they can take their show on the road. It's one thing to beat Philly, who's totally inconsistent at home. But can you do it now on the road against what we think is a decent team? I say no, not at this point. I'll take Arizona. Let's pick number 14. Pick number 15. Let's go to Los Angeles. The LA Chargers, new stadium. Remember, they're sharing their stadium with the LA Rams. The Kansas City Chiefs are minus 8.5 against the LA Chargers. Chargers 1-0 beat Cincinnati. The Chargers did everything in their power to keep Cincinnati in this game. Chargers got a couple of breaks and won. Got lucky with the push-off at the end of the game with A.J. Green, or else they could have lost. Then the Bengal kicker hurts himself with the potential game-time kick, and the Chargers escape. And what's with the Chargers' short yardage offense last week? They couldn't get an inch. They had so many 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, they couldn't get any of them. They could have salted this game away, couldn't do it. Keenan Allen at one point threw his hands up in the air and said, again, we can't get a 3rd and an inch? Their short yardage game was terrible last week. Terrible. But they did find a way to win, and I guarantee you if Rivers was still in the Chargers, they would have found a way to lose that game. But now you got the big bad Chiefs. And the Chiefs picked up where they left off last year, handled Houston. Chiefs 1-0. You expect them to have a big-time record. They're not going to lose many. Offense is awesome. They got this new running back that's running over people now. Took some injuries in the secondary. But the Chiefs, I mean, they are going to be... It's going to be interesting who gets that top seed, because you think it could be Kansas City or Baltimore. Who's going to get that top seed? There's going to be some race for that this year. But the Chiefs picked right... You know what I also like about the Chiefs? Their defense has really improved. We knew about Mahomes and the offense. The defense was so atrocious at one point last year, but give Spags, the defensive coordinator, a lot of credit. He's done a tremendous job with that defense, and I love the way he was coaching. The game was over against the Texans. There's like 10 seconds left in the game. Texans run a play, and they throw a pass over the middle, and the Texans dropped it, but the guy was wide open. And Spags, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, he's screaming at his team. He's cursing at his team because he wants perfection. He wants them to not get complacent. That's the sign of a good coach. Tremendous job on the defensive side of the ball by Spags, improving this defense and not settling for mediocrity and striving for perfection. I love to see that at the end of the game. The game was over. There's 10 seconds left in the game. They're up by 14. And he was mad that they left someone wide open over the field. He was screaming and cursing at the Chiefs. He's done a really, really good job. The Chief offense gets all the credit, rightfully so. But their defense improved last year. And that's another reason why they won the Super Bowl. Normally, I'd move the line to 14.5 and take the Chargers, but after last week, I got to move it to 2.5 and take the Chiefs. How are the Chargers going to keep up with the Chiefs? How are they going to score enough points? They could barely score against the Bengals. I don't think they have enough firepower. They do have weapons, but the Chargers, strange. It's strange the way they played last week. They got some weapons like Keenan Allen, the tight end, and others. They got some weapons, but they just didn't look all that crisp on offense. And now you got to contend with one of the best offensive teams in the league. How are you going to keep up with them? The only thing you hope for if you're a Charger fan, and I know there's not many of you out there, and by the way, having no fans in the building is an advantage for the Chargers, because if they let fans in, it would be all Chief fans. Where are all the Charger fans? Where are they? And LA, I'm assuming, is going to be more a Ram town than a Charger town. Where are the Charger fans? But anyway, I'm off track. What you hope for if you're a Charger fan is the Chiefs start partying in LA, like Mahomes is partying with Kim Kardashian the night before, or one of the Kardashians at some LA party, and they get distracted. Remember the movie Die Hard with Bruce Willis? Yeah, come out to the coast, have a few laughs. Maybe the Chiefs have that mindset. Now, I don't think they will. Andy Reid's usually on top of that. I just mentioned the defensive coordinator's on top of that. They're not going to let this team get complacent, but that's what you hope for with the Chargers. They go out there thinking, this is an easy win. We won the Super Bowl. We won last week. A long week to prepare. We can beat the Chargers anytime we want. I don't think the Chargers have enough firepower to go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, so I got to take the Chiefs here -2.5. Tempted to go 14.5, because I like home teams getting that amount of points. I think the Chargers are decent, but I just don't think they have enough firepower to go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. I just don't. I got to take the Chiefs until further notice. Chiefs -2.5. They get it done. That's pick number 15. And the final pick number 16. Let's go down to Houston. And yes, with my New York accent, I say Houston with a U. Houston. With the Baltimore Ravens -7 against Houston Texans. Baltimore 1-0 put the smackdown on Cleveland last week. You expect Baltimore to be right there for best record in the AFC. It's just how they're going to perform in the playoffs. They kind of went boom in the playoffs the last 2 years, but they do have a young quarterback. Not too surprising. Growing pains. Should have a big regular season, though. And then you got the Texans, and I'll tell you, like I said, I've been fair to the Cowboys. I've been fair to the Texans. I've been fair to them. And I like the quarterback, Watson. But they got to start picking it up. They're a team that can beat the weaklings, but when they step up in competition, you don't like their chances. I didn't like the way they played last week against Kansas City. And they covered the teaser, but at one point they were getting blown out of this game. They came back late with the backdoor cover and the teaser. I expected a lot more from them last week. And even Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast said he expected a lot more from them. And I know they lost their big receiver. They didn't lose him. They traded him for the back. They added some pieces to the wide receiver core. So they have some weapons. Their defense, though, not good. They got shredded last week. Chiefs actually could have scored more points. So the Texans, I mean, they're another strange team. They're like the Cowboys. You can't figure them out. One week they look great. Another week they don't look good. They're a bizarre team, and I've been fair to them. How would you like the Texans' back-to-back schedule open the year? Let's start the year in Kansas City and then come home for Baltimore. Thanks, National Football League, for that schedule. Woo! Yeah! Kansas City on the road, home for Baltimore. Woo! Love it. Again, like the last game, I got to take Baltimore. I'm tempted to move the line to 13 and take the Texans. Home getting 13. I got to move it to 1 and take Baltimore. I think Baltimore's just better. How are the Texans going to keep up with Baltimore? Baltimore beat the Texans 41-7 last year. I know that game was in Baltimore, but you see where I'm going. And I've been fair to the Texans. I picked them a lot. They got to start showing me more. Or else maybe a coaching change is in order. And I didn't like that trade. Traded away your top receiver for a running back. I didn't like that trade. So I'm going to move the line to 1 and take Baltimore. I just don't think Houston can keep up with Baltimore. I would love to take them with 13.5 in a teaser, and I could see you guys doing that. And maybe you win both ways here. Maybe it's one of those games. I have to take Baltimore. I have to. They're just better than the Texans right now. Maybe the Texans jump up and surprise me. But until they do, I got to go with Baltimore here. Baltimore -1 is your final pick. Okay, so there you go. You got through all my rants and all that, but you got your picks for week number 2. Hopefully we keep it going. Like I said, bet light in September. Bet light. Bet light. See where you're at, with these games. See where you're at with these games. and then go from there. Okay, I will talk to you guys next week. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. I will talk to you guys very soon. Take care.